Welcome back to another episode of the Block Runner Podcast. I'm your host, William, always here with your co-host, Iron.
What's going on, dude?
On 6, we got TJ.
Hello.
All right, so we're 1 week removed from interviewing Jake from Agent Hustle and Emblem Vault.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Super smart dude.
I know, right? I mean, you guys had quite the... I was hardly participant in that conversation. It was very...
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I mean,
I needed to get technical, dude. I need to make...
Well, I mean, anything
make this
AI.
make sense.
Well, of course. We've got to really, hone in, right? Like, what is the AI use case here? Like, actually, because there was a lot of...
I totally forgot about that.
It's fine. It's acceptable. I expected that. I was like, I knew we were talking AI.
It's like, let Will free.
Yeah, freestyle.
Let him run.
Yeah, let him see, if you can crack through the matrix of it and figure out, what does the code say, behind the wall?
That's right.
If you have, what is it? If you look into, a red laser?
Yeah, take DMT.
Oh, yeah.
Look into a laser.
Yeah.
And you'll see right through the wall.
Like the code.
The code, yeah.
the matrix code. Well, yeah, I was going to see if you can actually, without the DMT injection.
Yeah.
Or the red laser. Just see it, right?
See the code.
How is AI going to actually...
He's the one.
Yeah, is it going to work? Is it going to proliferate? Is it going to change things? And yeah, we experienced a hype bubble, right? Late last year.
Yeah.
A lot of noise settled from that. But
yeah.
Jake and his team have been pretty diligently building, in the absence of all the noise, which is typically a good indicator is a real builder.
Yeah.
Who's actually trying to do something authentic, not just trying to capitalize on the hypium, right?
Yeah, I'm still kind of surprised that the AI hypium, the crypto AI hypium, was 2-3 months long.
I know. Well, I feel like we had our optics on it for about 2 or 3 months.
Yeah,
we captured the earliest signals, right? All the way back in whenever virtuals was 30, 40, 50 million market cap, but just looking at it at a glance, we didn't actually look into it.
Yeah.
Until it got to 200-300 million or something. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
There's something here. And then AIXBT started to really...
Yeah, but the bubble popped soon after
fast,
that.
Very fast. My point is there was probably a 6-month period before we really looked deeply into it.
You're right, but that's a bunch of people just chatting. Ultimately, not until the token launches, that's when you pay attention.
True, yeah.
Right? So it's
you need a token. We know this, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure there were a lot of people because the AI hypium really began in 2022 with ChatGPT.
Correct.
And that's when we found Vitensor.
That's right. That's right.
And a bunch of other trash.
Yeah. There's a lot of it.
A lot of trash AI projects that, again, because of the hype narrative around AI, because of ChatGPT, it's let's just launch some crypto thing. Say there's some AI association to it. 99% of that ended up being nothing.
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
Blue skies.
Yeah.
Typical crypto stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when we were theorizing DMT, we knew we had to launch it with a token. Otherwise, nobody pays attention to it.
Yeah. Yeah. We experienced that with DeFi, right? People were talking DeFi, building apps and stuff, but there was no token around this stuff.
Yeah.
It wasn't until the introduction of governance tokens for DeFi protocols that all of a sudden this runaway hit, this discovery of crypto product market fit, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so meme coins kind of did the same thing for the AI sector, had a hype explosion, and then...
See, that one was a lot longer than AI. That had a long...
What, memes?
Long buildup, in terms of memes for the cycle, and then...
That's a good point, yeah.
And then it popped too with Trump and Melania.
Yeah, that was a clear top indicator.
Yeah, and basically expose a bunch of snipers and collusion and all that stuff. So it was a game you really, on general, on average, you could not win.
Definitely not. Yeah, I think there was a higher probability of winning during the earlier days.
Yeah, correct.
Where it was much more organic.
Yeah.
Less so industry co-opted.
Yeah.
Right, where I don't know, just random dude getting country heads to coordinate token launches and such.
Yep.
Basically, the Sahil days were the golden days.
That's right. Where he was rugging celebrities.
Dude, that was good times.
Yeah.
Looking back, I'm sure most of the trenchers like are, were probably complaining about that at the time, but they probably like looking back fondly on those days now.
Yeah, I haven't looked into Pump.fun recently, but I heard that their live stream feature was back.
Really?
Yeah.
Are people like killing themselves yet?
I haven't
heard.
I haven't heard of anything yet, so
That's interesting. Yeah, because last time they flicked on that switch, dude, it was ugly.
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
literally.
babies were under siege.
Yeah.
I guess they had strippers on.
Actual drug usage.
Yeah,
Have y'all watched the new season of Black Mirror?
No,
No.
dude, I want
So
to.
there's season 7. There's an episode that's very similar to this concept.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
It's just live streaming.
Like tokens?
It's without spoiling it. There's they have to like basically they're on the internet with webcams and they're like donating money for them to do stupid stuff.
Like NPC style or
No, I mean
something different?
Yeah, they're real people.
No, I know, but remember the NPC
Oh, yeah, like
craze?
Yeah, but it's like they're like telling them like pull out their teeth and one of them's pulling out their teeth.
Oh.
That's
Or,
literally
like drink your pee and stuff.
That's
Like,
literally pumped out fun.
yeah,
Dude.
exactly.
It's hilarious. Those writers were probably like theorizing like this could exist maybe like a year ago, like in the writers table.
That's true, yeah.
Before Pumped Out Fun actually manifested, and then it just like happened.
Yeah, season 7 took like 4 years, like a 4-year break
Yeah.
between the previous one, so
Yeah, I doubt like because they just released it like a week ago,
yeah, something like that.
so they had to have written that episode.
Yeah,
like,
100%. They had to shoot
before
it,
Pumped
yeah.
Out Fun happened.
Absolutely.
Wow, that show has a pretty good like
Yeah.
grip on like predicting outcomes, right?
I totally agree.
Yeah, they made a
It's
bunch
pretty
of
scary how like accurate they can or how close they can get.
Yeah, I wonder why. I wonder who's on that team.
I think I think they just take like today's concepts and they just like make it extreme.
They find the dystopian angles
Yeah.
to them, right?
Yeah.
It was like I see a lot of kids with tablets like playing Roblox.
Yeah.
Like imagine what happens when these kids become adults, right? It's like they're gonna keep doing this, right? And like they're gonna like root their whole personalities and their
Yeah.
love interests. And
Yeah,
all that
think
shit.
about that. It's like if you spend your entire like a huge percent of your life in Roblox and then you just like put it down and then you look around, it's like, man, this shit's boring. Like, and then all of a sudden everybody's just depressed because it's not like action packed.
Yeah, there's no dopamine out here.
Yeah.
Well, there is, but it's in like pill form. So it's like
Yeah.
so that's like the next best thing, right? Yeah, that's gonna happen, dude. I went to a restaurant. I told you guys about it. Like,
Yeah.
I had a playground, so there was a lot of kids. Every single kid had a tablet, and they were all playing Roblox. I was like, damn, that's wild. No wonder Roblox keeps like reporting these bullish like quarterly earnings reports. It's like,
They're just siphoning money from the parents.
yeah, and I'm sure this is like a trend happening like globally, right?
Yeah.
It's definitely not just an American phenomenon, or maybe it is. I don't know. You guys,
That's interesting.
let us know in the comments if you're, abroad and you observe these similar trends, right?
Yeah.
We're just literally handing them off at probably like age 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Get in there.
Yeah, I can kind of understand too. It's like whenever the TV's on, my son's 17 months. Once it's on, he'll pay attention to the TV, but once it's off, then he's like starts to make noises and like
Starts to be disruptive, right?
yeah, yeah,
It starts to like make his presence be known.
Correct.
It's like you better focus and direct your attention onto me.
exactly.
I can't have that, dude. Give him the tablet.
Yeah, I get it too. It's and so does every other parent on earth,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Who has like responsibilities. Now, if you're like a retired in your 30s, somehow you just have that luxury.
You have a ton of Bitcoin.
A ton of Bitcoin, and you could just spend all day with your kids.
Yeah,
and
for
it's
sure.
Fine, but that's not societal norms.
No.
Not until. So maybe that's what the AI unlock is. We can actually like bond with our kids again.
Yeah, there was I was watching. I think I shared this video with you guys, but it's a long video. It's a guy who does a bunch of science videos on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And he was doing a talk. It's sort of like a TED talk, but I actually was at a university, but he was doing a talk about AI. And there was a kid that asked him, was like, hey, can AI get to a point where it's a physical robot to where you can have a conversation to where your brain is convinced that the social aspect of your brain is being like fulfilled. And out of the entire talk, that was the most interesting question, and it came from like a 10-year-old kid.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And so he said that, you know, obviously that was a great question, and he replied with, we don't know for sure that talking to like a robot, like a computer, is actually going to fulfill that like social aspect of our brain, but I think he thinks that we could actually get to that point. And then all of a sudden, like, you could just have a conversation with a robot, and it's no different than like having a communal conversation with other human beings.
100%. Yeah, I think the brain is easily tricked.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, basically.
100%. Like, I've already experienced that in my life, where the fulfillment.
You got tricked by a computer, dude?
No. Just I got tricked by a simulation
I see,
of
yeah.
experience.
Sure,
right? Where it's
sure.
like called an MMORPG, right?
Yeah.
And anybody who's played that realm of like game, I think, can attest to that, where it's like, per the design and the mechanisms of the game itself, and like the social engineering around all that, like, it taps into those regions of the brains of fulfillment, and that's what keeps you like hooked on it.
Yeah.
It's like you don't need to like deal with the difficulties of real life, which typically triggers those feedback loops of like, I'm actually doing okay, right?
Yeah.
That's like so much harder to do. Well, it's pretty hard to do okay in those virtual like economies also. But the point is, I don't know, it's more
Feels more accessible.
maybe like if in this world you're just not equipped with like whatever the
Geo positioning, like physical properties.
Yeah, like you're just born in an environment that there's not much opportunity, right? So you can't.
Yeah, not everybody can be an NBA player.
Right, or even like have like a middle class job opportunity, right?
Yeah.
So it's like I can't ever get that feedback loop.
Yeah, right.
It's perpetual, like at the starting point of it, and it's like that sucks. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, the internet realm, metaverse, whatever you want to call it, it gives that opportunity. So I seized the hell out of it, and yeah, my brain was definitely tricked. It's like, I got everything I need here. I feel fulfilled.
I think that experience is why we're so bullish on the metaverse in the context of Web3, because we spend all this time in gaming and you don't accrue any assets. Like with Web3, you could actually start accruing assets, which end up benefiting you in real life too.
Yeah.
Right. And so like it was an easy thesis, but very hard to execute, obviously.
Yeah, it's just I still think there's obviously tremendous like use case ability there. Fucking Pokemon just like announced something, didn't they? Of like NFT badges or something like that on Sui chain of all chains.
I think it was interpreted as NFT badges without them saying it. Even,
okay.
Because they partnered with a project. I forget that project's name, but they partnered with a project, and that project had a lot of association with Web3.
I see. Yeah, I remember like a post from like several months ago where somebody found their like monsters.com listings or whatever for like jobs, and they were looking for blockchain engineers at one point.
Really?
Yeah, I remember that.
Huh.
So like people are piecing the puzzle together. It's like an inevitable like Pokemon on chain.
You know, the ideal scenario would be that the Pokemon themselves are NFTs.
Yeah.
I just don't think that is what's going to happen. I think you're getting like badges.
Yeah, I think it's for like one of their games or something. But it addresses some problems like fraud and stuff like that. People can create like digital copycats of a certain product.
Well, and they were referring to Pokemon. Like you just make copies of like Charmander or whatever, and then all of a sudden you have a fleet of Charmanders that could just like, I don't know, wreck the game.
Like the actual card of So each card needs like a QR code.
Yeah. So in the case of like the digital games, like you could just make copies of them.
Right.
But like the physical game is much harder. Yeah. But ultimately, it's like they might be looking into NFTs. But remember the company Niantic that made Pokemon Go?
Yeah.
Well, they also made a completely separate game, completely irrelevant to Pokemon, and but it was very similar how Pokemon Go worked. But the reason why I bring that up is because whatever project that Nintendo brings in for like Pokemon specifically, and that project is associated with Web3, doesn't mean that Web3 is going to be brought into Pokemon. They could be developing some other game
right
that has nothing to do with like Web3.
I see. So don't buy into the rumors, right?
I
Actually,
think it was
that's
Monster Hunter.
Monster
I think
Hunter?
that was the game there.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. It's very similar to Pokemon Go, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically the same thing.
It is the same
But
thing.
that started off as like a PC game, didn't it? Monster Hunter.
Yep.
And then they built like an augmented reality
Exactly.
experience to it.
Mhm.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense, but definitely not as cool. I mean, Pokemon already is Monster Hunter
Yeah, it is.
for your pocket.
Yeah.
That's per the name, right?
Yeah.
Pocket monsters. So I mean, why deviate, guys? But I get it. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like that Nintendo and Pokemon, they could really mess this up
by
putting
fucking around with NFTs.
Yeah, I think they could mess it up.
I mean,
Because think
yeah.
about the implications. Like, you have a Charmander, or you have like whatever rare Pokemon, doesn't matter. You have it as an NFT, and then they come out with another game, 5 years down the line, and they don't support that NFT. It's going to be an outrage.
Well, they're Pokemon, right? They have to build like the interoperability rails
Well, but what if they
between
don't?
all their game IPs and such. I think that if they were to do this, they wouldn't do it like in the fucked up way where you could introduce these like
Yeah, but there's
user.
yeah, it's really hard to do that. I remember when Destiny, the first-person shooter,
the
that
Halo
game.
MMO.
Halo, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember
was that wasn't Halo though, right? It was its own.
it was its own thing developed by the same company,
That's right. Okay.
right? And I remember when they were talking about it, they revealed Destiny as this like 10-year MMORPG first-person shooter type game.
Yeah.
And after like the first 2 years, the progression that you made on that character was completely eliminated.
They just wiped it.
They just completely wiped it. So like you kept your levels, but your levels meant nothing. Why? Is because it's hard to balance like that level of progression throughout like a decade and still create new games, new features, new stuff. Like it's really hard to balance it.
Well, they introduced like an expansion then, right? That's what you're.
Well,
describing?
it wasn't. Yeah, so they kept adding to the game,
Right.
but the stuff that you accrued ended up being nerfed so hard that you just
Right.
wasted your time.
That's how MMOs work, dude. That's how.
But that's what I mean. It's like if you have an NFT, it's like
Yeah.
it's meaningless and worthless
right.
if they keep adding to the game.
Yeah, at that point, it just maybe has like collector value over time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah, because it loses its functional utility as like a OP item.
Yeah, and maybe that is a good kind of point. It's like, yeah, you can't use it in the game, or even if you use it, nobody cares about your first edition Charizard in the game itself, right?
Yeah.
They're not going to care. But first edition Charizard as a collectible, that's kind of a big deal.
100%. Yeah, I don't think anybody's playing with their base set Pokemons in like the
True.
in the TCG leagues.
Yeah,
But yeah, the people with money, those are the ones I'm seeking,
Yeah,
right?
that's
So
true.
Same I think conditional logic will apply in the digital space. It's like my glowing brightwood staff.
What? What is that?
You WoW nerds will understand the importance of. You could probably remember if you played WoW. It's like how euphoric I must have felt when I was just like slapping these little enrolled mobs just randomly, just grinding out in the wild, and I find a glowing brightwood staff, which is very rare, very
A
rare.
glowing stick. This is rare, guys.
It was more than a stick, dude. It was a
So
staff.
obviously.
And it was glowing and had bright wood. It was pretty cool, but it was very rare. And I never thought I would ever find one because I'd always remember going to the auction house and seeing them listed.
Sure.
Because it was one of the a few world like drops you could find that's like epic, which is like very rare that you could trade. Therefore, it has like
Yeah.
value, right? Most of the stuff is like bind on and equip
Mhm.
or bind on pickup or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this one was like, yeah, bind on equip so you could sell it. But I always remember seeing it. They're like astronomical. Imagine like the value of like an alien punk or like an alien bored ape or whatever the rare bored
So,
apes
and
are.
they were valued in gold, right?
Of course.
So how much gold are we talking about? Is like a few billion, trillion? Like what's?
Probably like a few thousand, but that's like
Okay, a
so
few
hard to
thousand.
get.
Okay.
So much gold, like a typical riding mount, which took me probably like a month or two of gold grinding, like 400 gold.
Okay.
So it'd be like 6 months of like gold grinding. You could afford one.
So, and that's just killing mobs, right? For 6 months straight, collecting all that gold, and then just
like saving though, not spending.
Yeah.
You can afford a glowing brightwood staff, which is cool.
I would have done very well in this game, dude, because I'm a good saver. Like, I've always been that type of gamer who would play a game and like I would collect these assets and I would try not to spend anything.
Yeah, you would have been great then, dude.
Yeah, if I remember right, WoW has bronze and silver, right?
Yeah.
So like it takes a long time to actually get gold. Like gold doesn't
Oh,
drop.
I see. Okay.
Back in those days. Nowadays, because as the verse kept expanding, like, you know, the loot, the mobs dropped more currency.
I see.
There's like a insane inflation, right? So it's way easier to acquire gold now. But back in those days, so I found it in the wild, and I forgot what was the point of this.
NFTs and gaming and
like nowadays, I don't even know what the level cap is. I'm sure they're on expansion like 20 by now.
Yeah,
it's probably like level 150 or something. And like what the fuck? A level 60 epic has no utility or function.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
What'd you do with your staff?
It got stolen by a Chinese hacker, along with everything else I've ever worked for. Right? Again,
don't click on links, people.
Again, like off-chain storage. That should have been on-chain stuff that you would have had to take in my private keys to like actually.
Which could have still happened.
Still could have happened. Yeah. Still happens to this day.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not like pure security, right? Unless you store everything on a ledger.
Yeah.
Even then.
So that bright stick would still be valuable as a collector's item, but not valuable in the game.
I would imagine so.
I need you to call it by its real name, though.
It's a bright stick. Wooden stick, dude.
Dude, just look it up so you can see what it looks like. It's magnificent, dude. I want to see your real time reaction to this.
Okay, so it's bright.
No.
Wooden.
Glowing.
Okay. Glowing, not bright. Glowing.
Brightwood.
Brightwood.
There it is.
Staff. All right, here we go. Images.
Dude, look at that fucking thing, dude. Wow, that thing was only level 49. It's really not that cool, but I thought it was cool because I never found an epic in the wild.
So you got this thing and you used it, and I presume it was really useful in the world, right?
Yes.
Like it killed
until
mobs.
You got to like the dungeon tier of like, there's dungeon drops at level 60 way better than this thing. But still, that was probably like the coolest thing you could have, like trying to apply to a guild. It's like, dude, I got a glowing brightwood staff, motherfucker. You
gotcha.
You want me, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to like somebody drifting blues.
So had you have sold this for thousands of gold, what else could you have gotten that would have helped you progress? Is there not much more you could have gotten?
I don't know, like enchantments and shit.
Okay.
You know? But not much. Yeah, there's not much you could have bought like on the secondary market. You have to like actually get in the dungeons and like find.
Yeah, because they just didn't exist on the market.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why this staff was like.
I see.
Had its allure, right? But yeah, it quickly became pretty shitty, even in the context of that game, as more dungeons were released. But
so basically, this was you with that stick on your back.
Well, actually, no, because I wasn't like a magic type. I just found it, and I was like super hyped to find it. I don't know what I ended up doing. I don't know if I must have sold
So
it.
your character type couldn't equip this like this? No. Oh, that sucks, dude.
For me. Yeah, maybe I gave it to Mitch or something because he was a mage. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows, dude? Good times.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never really experienced something that rare. Like
see how?
Yeah.
What I'm talking about, right? Like finding that's like.
Yeah.
What's the real world equivalent as far as like fulfillment, right? It's like finally like
real world.
It's like finally
gold medal. Is it that hard?
But that's like something you strive for, right? This is like something that you.
Oh,
just
this is random. Maybe lottery.
I guess so. It's like the euphoria of like a lottery, I guess. Pickup, because then I could sell it, and then I'm living big, right? Then I could buy a mount, and I'm riding around with a cool mount. People give me like status, and it's very similar, right? You see that? You see how it's gonna like it mimics those same.
So the mount is a new car, winning lottery.
Yeah, that's you rolling around in a Porsche, not a Pinto.
$200,000 watch.
Right. Yeah. I'm dripped in the metaverse, dude. And then people like they gravitate and they start DMing you. And they're like, hey, want to be my friend?
Click on this link.
Yeah, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
A lot of emails from Nigerian princess.
Yeah, so but as like a 13, 14-year-old kid, that was enough for me. Right? So,
I can see that.
so you're saying at some point everyone's going to be conversing with AI,
Yeah.
and it's going to be tricking everyone's brain to the point where, you get the fulfillment requirements, right?
Yeah, I mean, think about how that AI could train you to like be polite, and here's how to talk to a girl. It's like all that stuff.
That's useful. Yeah,
Yeah.
you showed me that some kid who's like created a cheat on everything app or something.
Mm-hmm.
His name Roy. He's like a 21-year-old kid. He's just out there like flipping the bird
Yeah, that's right.
at the world.
Yeah.
But he created like an AI like interface that like if you're in a boardroom meeting or something, it just listens in on the convo.
On Zoom, yeah. So it's an application that runs on your laptop, and when you're on Zoom, if they suspect that you might be cheating, a lot of times it's like, let me see your screen. And so when you show your screen, that app completely disappears. So it's just like completely invisible from Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
And so now when people are asking you questions, whether it's coding or whatever, the AI is listening, and it gives you a response that you should say out loud. And you can kind of put that little prompt window right under the camera of your laptop.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, you're thinking, and you're not disengaged. You're not looking at some other, screen somewhere else.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think it's called Cluey?
Cluely? Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. But anyway, those guys, remember tomorrow is the Sperm racing.
Oh my God, dude. So you guys watching this? Wait, I think it's today.
No, this is the 25th.
Oh, thank God. I didn't
So
miss it.
tomorrow for us, yesterday for
Oh, yeah. That sucks for you guys.
Sorry, guys.
power of recording.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it.
Missed it.
Power.
You missed it, but you didn't, right?
Right.
Because I'm sure it's out there. Whatever the hell this ends up becoming.
I'm sure everybody's like, what the hell are you guys talking about?
Sperm racing.
This podcast has really degraded over the years. It's like we're down to sperm racing, guys.
Yeah,
Not much action in the market, huh?
Let's watch this.
Not much going on. Can you hear it?
I don't have it.
Okay.
It's fine. You don't need to listen to this.
No, just imagine.
The first ever sperm racing.
Yeah, you're right. Friday. Wow. Here they are pulling down their undergarments. It's like, let's whip it out, guys. That guy was drinking milk. This guy was taking, what do you think that was, dude? Probiotics? Holy shit.
Yeah, so allegedly, somehow sperm is going to race.
Yeah.
And it's going to be live streamed?
And I think like Polymarket probably already has like, prediction outcomes for this. You could bet on, who you think's going to win. So what is the point of this again? Like this has an association to that guy we were talking about, Roy, right?
Yeah. So Roy created Cluely and sperm racing.
Jesus Christ. This has nothing to do with like, this isn't like a new meme coin platform, right?
No.
At least not yet.
Not yet.
Jesus.
But they need to do that.
Maybe. He seems like the type who could easily come into Web3 and just like dominate. Yeah. But he's got a ton of Web2 attention where VCs are just throwing money at him because they like the cut of his jib, right?
Yeah.
Which I can imagine. If I was a VC in Web2, I would see this kid. He's like, I'm in, dude. Here's $1 million. Go build the next Napster. Right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Polymarket's, yeah.
Here they are. They see the opportunity, dude. So I don't know. I can't imagine like they're gonna have to like isolate like a cup like one sperm out of the pool.
I have no idea, dude. How
and
they're
then
gonna
like
do
drop
this.
them at like a. You could do it as long as you have the right like microscope. You just draw a line.
Yeah, Polymarket does have an open book on this.
Oh my God. Is there like a lot of volume, or any at all? Or like, is there like one, like
I mean, there's definitely people
placing bets?
placing bets.
Who's winning?
Right now it's 50-50.
What the fuck,
Wow.
dude? I mean, you don't really have any information.
Those
really.
are
Right.
the odds, right? 50-50.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if these like athletes are like marketing
Athletes.
themselves.
These athletes.
I don't know. They
The
have
comments on Polymarket are pretty funny, dude.
of course. Oh, I didn't know they had comments on Polymarket. Of course they do. Of course they do. They have to. I mean, Polymarket basically is like a meme platform at this point, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here's Roy, 21, CEO of Cluely. Yeah, so this guy, he probably codes these apps that really disrupt things
Mm-hmm.
and puts them out there, like, without caring.
Yeah, I mean, look, dude. We can't watch it because there's no audio, but that's him, right? He's
Oh,
like,
are you,
oh,
wait,
there is audio.
Yeah, here we go.
Let's just watch this.
Here we go.
Thank you.
thank you, thank you, thank you.
So we got a guy on a date.
Yeah, and there's like an
So, how old did you say
a
you were?
window here, but
Yeah.
because he's wearing those glasses.
I'm 30 years old.
So he's using Cluely right now to kind of like,
Are
Your
you sure
profile
that's
says
him?
you worked at
Yeah.
Amazon.
I think it is.
Yeah, I've been there for the past 8 years doing
Yeah, that's
like
Roy.
senior software engineering. So like coding.
Really?
I know I look a little young for my age, but I promise you, I'm 30 years old.
Okay. Well, maybe you are just way older than you look.
I saw on your profile that you're like into art.
Yeah, I've been really into illustration design genre lately. I didn't expect you to be an art guy. Oh man.
Here's your glass of rosé. And
Thank you.
sorry, we couldn't verify your ID.
Oh,
So here's a grape juice for you.
Oh, wait. I'm pretty sure there's a mistake.
I think you're way too young for me, so I'm gonna have to go.
Wait. Okay, look, listen. I know I lied about my age. I'm sorry, but the second I saw your profile and I see the painting with the tulips, you're just like the most gorgeous girl ever, and you're such an unbelievably talented artist. Do you think you can just give me like one chance to show you I can make this work?
Can you give me some time to think about it? Are you free sometime next week?
Ooh, actually, next week I have this anime convention I gotta go to with my boys. Do you think you could do like next month, maybe?
Oh my god.
Wow. So, wow.
Yeah, so that's marketing for like a Web 2 app.
Which essentially just gives you like real time like feed of dialogue
Yeah.
to, I guess that's adapted to any scenario, right? It's like, okay, you're on a date.
Yes.
Here's how you amplify your riz, right? Otherwise, you're fucked without my assistance, right? Or if you're in a business meeting, it's like, here's how you, I guess, come across as if you've done any work at all, right?
Correct.
I mean, so this app has to have a lot of context, I would guess, like
Yeah, I mean,
for it to like really perform.
here's the guy I'm going to be talking to, or here's the girl I'm going to be talking to, and like have the context and background knowledge of that person, and
Yeah, I guess a lot of it could be pulled from like social media, right?
yeah,
In the context of like, here's the girl,
that's right.
here's all her like, here's her Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
here's her Facebook, here's her Instagram, here's her
Yeah,
TikTok. I guess.
respond, with their interest in mind.
Yeah, it's just at some point it's gonna feed you something that's gonna clearly make you seem like a creep, right?
Yeah,
It's like you know too much about me. It's like oh, this how did your sister's baby shower go? And it's like, how the
And-
fuck did you know about that?
It's
Or she's like,
wow.
she's amazed by that, impressed, maybe. Yeah, depends on the girl.
Yeah,
It's like, dude, you're like way too in there.
right.
I don't know, but nonetheless, it's an interesting thought experiment, right? Like AI, literally in our heads, always like helping us. one
Yeah,
way
and,
or
and
another.
think about the implications. Is like you hire somebody that's supposed to know about coding, and like all they do is just vibe code the app that you want. But that's a pretty good skill, right? Like it's worth it.
Vibe coding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's like prompt engineering.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is.
Yeah, as long as like they deliver what you're looking for,
Mm-hmm.
and they know how to do it, even though they don't know how to code. Well, it's gonna be a problem if they find bugs. Like you're gonna have to figure it out.
Well, that's where like the actual developers come in, right?
Yeah.
So it's like
It's like one real dev and then like 10 vibe coders.
or like one vibe coder and like 10
Real devs?
AI audit dev.
Mm. Yeah.
things like that. I don't know.
Yeah. AI is actually getting really good at solving bugs.
Yeah, you introduced me to a 3D generation AI today,
I did.
which is like based in China, I think.
Yeah. Correct.
Looks pretty damn good.
It's very good. It could take your sketch and make it into a 3D and then rig it up, animate it.
The whole spectrum.
The whole
of
thing,
like,
it's done. There's nothing else.
that's insane. Because 4 years ago, we knew a lot of people in the industry, right? Specifically our metaverse industry, where that was like their bread and butter.
Yeah,
of,
they
like,
had to manually
services.
do all of that. The sketch
Yeah.
manually.
We paid for a lot of those services. I
did.
remember, and it's like they weren't cheap. Maybe $3,000 or $4,000 for like a simple animated, maybe like 20 characters with like make them animate so they can like walk around and
Yep.
sit down, maybe like go fetch some item or something.
Yeah, man.
And that took like maybe like 3 or 4 weeks to deliver. And yeah, like we're talking, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of time. So
Yeah.
like if you're a game creator studio, it's like you got to be doing these types of things and making these types of expenditures regularly, because that's only like a small fraction of the
Yeah, that's part of why
designer need.
why building a metaverse is so expensive and so hard to do is that you had to get humans to manually like make it.
Yeah.
And like now it's like 1,000 times faster and cheaper to do it, and you just need a bunch of sketches and then you tell it what kind of animations you want, and then eventually you get another programmer or maybe another vibe coder to make a game out of it.
Wow. Yeah, so we're like months away, if not I don't know, months or maybe a year or two away from somebody packaging all these different like individual components of AI
Yeah.
and to just like, describe your game and like,
Yeah, 100%.
what do you want people to do?
Yeah, I
And
want a first-person shooter,
right.
and it's like RPG elements.
Yeah, I want a first person shooter where like basically describe Destiny, right? Where
Yeah,
it's
that's
like,
true.
it's just like, I don't want it to just be like an arena where like after the game you reload into the next one. It's like
Right.
I want like XP,
Yeah,
I want leveling,
progression.
I want like random drops maybe when I kill somebody.
And then think about this: is like make my game last for 10 years. So have like an extremely long progression rate, and like develop all and design all the armor and weapons and all that stuff that'll be interesting for 10 years.
Jesus. And then you just give it that. It's like a few paragraphs of like descriptive details.
Yeah, I feel like that specific detail is something only an AI could do.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, remember when we think about Web3, it's like, what can you do on this blockchain that you can't do on any other blockchain? And it's like, what can you do with AI when designing a game that you cannot do with a bunch of humans? It's like, well, you can make a 10-year game, right? And that's very difficult and expensive to do for humans to try to do that.
Yeah, I just don't know if it's going to be like 100% every time.
Well, probably not, but you could
Yeah.
vibe your way there, right?
To an MVP,
Yeah.
at least. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's what's missing, right? Like you're saying, it's cost prohibitive for things like, meme coins do so well in this market because there is no like cost prohibition, right? It's just,
Yeah.
Can you come up with a ticker
That's right.
and like maybe like a logo, some sort of imagery representation of that ticker, and that's about it.
Yeah, just come up with a narrative,
Yeah.
flip the stock market,
Right. Yeah, it's like people just got rugged by artifacts on
Yeah.
the art itself. So let's create meme coin. Shit, dude, I'm really bad at this. Think of a meme around this event.
That's, yeah. Well, here we're talking about Elon wearing artifact shoes, and
Yeah.
Nike didn't seem like they wanted to continue the project.
Well,
So it's like-
we gotta explain what happened first, though, right? Because like,
Yeah, so the NFT project made 168 million. That's artifact. Nike bought it. No, it's undisclosed amount. And then Elon Musk and Kanye West wore their shoes. Now the collection is gone, and so are the founders. The rise and fall of Artifact and CloneX.
yeah, what do they mean by gone? Is like if you actually go look at your NFT, it used to have like this cool like 3D person, right?
Yeah.
Like it looked like an anime character, very cool, very unique for the PFP design, and now it gives you like an error message or something because they're not paying the bill.
Look at this shoe though, $11,000,
That's a nice shoe,
and Elon is wearing them.
as he should.
It's called the Cyber Shoe.
Yeah, so it's clearly inspired by the Cybertruck design, right?
Yeah, so here are the avatars that you're not avatars, but PFPs that you're talking about. And if we keep scrolling, these characters are no longer here's the rug pull from Artifact. It's like, thank you for your money, but we're disappearing. And this is what your NFTs look like. It basically say Cloudflare is no longer hosting these images.
Still can't think of a meme. Maybe Vart. It's like vapor art instead of like a fart.
Or
That's not funny. That's not a good.
Cloudflare.
Nah, that's definitely not funny, dude.
No?
That's not a good meme. I don't know. Well, that's the point. You got to have some sort of like meme ingenuity, like engineering capacity to like, here's the event. Here's like what's kind of funny about it, right? A lot of people are getting wrecked, but there's a message here.
It's a meme called Nike, dude.
No, that's not funny either, dude. Nike, come on, man. You gotta be a little more creative than this, you know? Just think about it. You're in the trenches and like, you know, gun to your head. It's like, if you don't create a successful pump meme here that graduates, I'm gonna pull the fucking trigger, dude. It's like you had to create a meme coin around this, you know, that resonates with like the idea of, you know, on-chain art.
Well, I think you would have to play on the words on Clone X, right?
Clone Z?
Clone Y. Why clone?
We're getting somewhere, maybe. I don't know. Maybe like no clone.
No clone, yeah.
What about? Oh, whatever, dude. I can't do it. It's
Yeah.
actually easier to make a game than to fucking come up with a meme coin.
Yeah, but check this out. So one of the Clone X's, they sold for 450 ETH, which makes it the first $1 million Clone X sale back in the day.
Yeah, I was about to say.
In 2022.
Yeah, I mean, this thing was massive. So, I mean, it is what it is, right? This is why people have been advocating for ordinals, such as ourselves, right?
Yeah, I read one in the comments somewhere where they're saying, yeah, they're not paying for Cloudflare, but they're paying for some other decentralized storage service.
I think it's Arweave now, or maybe like Arweave is like picking it up and somehow like.
Well, nonetheless, you still got to pay Arweave to store it. So
Yeah.
it's probably cheaper or whatever, but it's an ongoing cost that they're gonna have to pay, even if it's like negligible. They still got to pay the cost.
Right.
So, but on Bitcoin, you don't have to pay the cost. So the cost of storing on Bitcoin is the cost of doing the transaction on Bitcoin, the weight of the asset itself.
Right. Because you're calling on that like stored data, right?
Yeah, because 4 megabytes per block, so you're paying for that space.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're consuming a megabyte, well, you're gonna pay, something, pretty expensive. But once you do that, it's there forever.
Right.
So that's kind of the benefit of Bitcoin.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is, I guess, inevitable. Somebody or some collection would go through this, right?
Well, yeah, and I feel like this is a small part of like the Clone X story. I think what's more interesting is that Nike just decided to be, they were like, okay, we're done with this. I find that to be very interesting.
Why? Because it's Nike?
Because it's Nike. I mean, I don't know. Maybe their business is struggling. Maybe. I don't know. But nonetheless, it's like, I don't know. What is the point of Artifact under Nike?
Well, at the time of acquisition, it just seemed right, I guess. It's like NFTs were huge. This was like a pretty good IP. Like they started off as like shoe creators, right?
Yeah.
There was an alignment there. Even the logo itself was kind of close to a check.
Yeah.
It just made sense at the time. Just didn't pan out because, everything came crashing down.
But why though?
Why what, dude? What do you mean? This is not that.
Why not
continue?
Why not continue the brand? Like why not?
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. It's probably something that they might end up. I mean, I look at it. I don't see anything like wrong with this stuff.
See,
right?
what I'm thinking is the difficulty of what I was telling you about Pokemon and doing NFTs is like if they do that, they are hamstringing themselves in the future, right? And it's like now they have a brand that is essentially forever, and they have to like sustain that growth of that brand. Like I feel like from a digital perspective, that's hard to do versus like something like Nike where you can just continue pumping out new shoes. You can't just continue pumping out new NFTs here, right? That gives a bad look from the like collector standpoint.
I mean, I guess you could. There's just no market demand for it. Like, imagine if these shoes were, metaverse wearables, right?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Physical shoes, there's market demand every single year.
Yeah.
With NFTs, it's not that.
There's no like metaverse avatar drip demand yet, right?
Yeah.
Where like a significant percentage of people spend their time daily in the metaverse. So like the continual release of like new shoe collections makes business sense, basically.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not time, dude. They're just too early. We all are just a little bit too early to this stuff. That's seemingly more obvious. But nonetheless,
I hope it's that simple. Like if everyone has an avatar and people want to like spend money on like new drip like every now and then.
Yeah.
Just like you do in the real world.
Or in World of Warcraft.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, you heard about my story, right? I told you about my glowing Brightwood staff story, right? Where some people in the context of the demand of that market were willing to spend essentially 6 months of like earnings for a single item. Like, think about it, because like whoever's bought that from me on the market, they probably didn't have a real job. So it's like 6 months of like 8-hour a day grinding.
Yeah.
And like the value of that spent on a single item, but the return is that.
Yeah, but I feel
social
like
status.
That staff isn't like particularly visually attractive in my eyes.
How fucking dare you, dude? What do you mean?
So what I'm saying is, I feel like it's not so much the rarity, which I think that's what you appeal to this thing. It's that it's rare. It's not so much about the rarity, but how you want to look today versus yesterday.
Yeah.
And like if you want to look different and look cooler, you go to the store and you like find something that looks really cool.
Yeah, a fucking Gucci bag or something.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm saying. It's like once we have like a user base full of avatars, then there's going to be demand for like new stuff, new NFTs that people could then buy and trade.
100%. Yeah, so we're just not there yet, dude. I
Yeah.
mean, maybe AI gets us closer to that. I don't know. Speaking of that, there was another project that we were kind of looking into this week, right? The Think agents.
Oh, thinking. Yeah, correct. Let me see. I think, here they are.
Yeah, so this one was interesting, right? Because they're essentially minting, I think after their mint, it was like a 48-hour mint, open mint.
Yeah.
To claim essentially like open, like the bitmap version of an AI agent, which is just kind of like here's the mint.
It's like a canvas.
Yeah, it's like an open canvas where we can continually add in new functionalities.
Yeah.
New applications through like MCP that these agents can essentially like hook up to and become more functional, right? More useful.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I think they sold 2,000 of them.
2,000, yeah, at $400.
Yeah, which is a pretty significant raise, but nonetheless, so
yeah,
we've been waiting for the utilization of AI agents. When are they actually going to come into the metaverse? A lot of these apps that these Think agents are connected to are like metaverse, I think, focused.
Yeah, and it's MCP based. So the more MCP servers that exist, the more capability the AI has.
Yeah, which makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So some of these agents, you can connect into that 3D whatever we were describing earlier.
Yeah.
So long as there's an MCP server.
Correct.
And then you can just interface with your agent and tell it, hey, there's a bitmap. I own this.
Yeah.
Connected to Bitmap OS, which I guess we would have to spin up
an MCP
server for.
Correct.
And then use this other like 3D AI rendering app or stack or whatever to create me like a whole village.
Yep. Perfect vibe coding scenario.
Yeah. So what do you think?
No, I think, my question is, out of what you just said, why do you have to include Web3?
Well, you need the ownership. Well,
Why?
what do you mean?
Well, why do you need to own one of these agents?
As opposed to it just being like a
service.
a subscription service.
Yeah, it's just a service. I want to create this metaverse. I want to create this activity. Just do it for me, and like here it is. So my question is, like, for every single Web3 project, is like, what are you doing with Web3 that you cannot do in Web2? Because I've seen MCP servers work without Web3.
Yeah, and they're going to continue to work.
Right.
But there's that, I guess, like I don't know, like.
So it's like maybe they tie this, like, this unique MCP server functionality to a particular NFT. Right? These are NFTs,
Maybe.
right?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, so maybe there's some metadata or some sort of properties to each of these individually, like, because they're unique from each other, that, be per these traits of this agent, like, it has access to some app as opposed to it doesn't.
But which means that your Think NFT has access to some other MCP servers that mine do not.
Yeah, just because, I don't know, it's like it's cut off, right? It's like I have a creative agent, so it's connected to like Blender and all these different creative apps, but it's not financially savvy. So it can't just utilize,
so
Coinbase
ultimately,
and stuff like that.
If you maintain uniqueness, there are only going to be so many permutations of these NFTs. And if there's only so many permutations, then you need to continuously add more MCP servers to be able to sell more NFTs. And then some NFTs are more useful than others, so that there's like there's a difference in the market where there's like essentially demand. But then you have to design this in a way where it's like sustainable for the business to continue like operating.
Right.
So, which is another kind of challenge.
Of course, dude. You don't think everything comes with challenges? I mean, that's kind of
this one's particularly difficult.
what isn't, dude? Like what?
I mean, I'm not saying that it's.
Yeah, what are you saying? You're saying
I'm
like
not-
this is not worth like doing because it's difficult?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
What I'm saying it's particularly difficult. This
Okay.
is like
It's more
uniquely
difficult than usual.
Yes, uniquely difficult.
Interesting.
Right, because you can continue selling more NFTs, or you could just provide this as a service and like charge a subscription.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and that has been very successful.
Which will exist for sure.
Yeah, yeah, and not only that, like you can come in and say, "I want this," and it'll pull in the right MCP servers to make that stuff, and it's not like limited to like accessing NFTs.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. It's like that's why it's so challenging.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, there's some sort of like ecosystem edge that needs to be discovered, I guess, with the like utilization of tokenization vehicles for this stuff.
Now, so now if you make these into like their own agents, like they're autonomous, they have TEEs, and they can communicate in like light speed with each other, and there's a human being that comes in, I want this thing, I'm vibe coding. The agents, they pick this up and they communicate with each other. It's like, hey, let's make this thing. And then, it's like, here it is. We made it. It's like half a Bitcoin. Like if you want it.
Yeah.
And then everybody gets paid. The business gets paid. The agents get paid because they have to pay for compute. And like, it's right there.
So it's just like a random like sequence of occurrences. Like maybe like your interactions as like an owner is what influences ultimately like how your agent performs in these markets, or like what it ends up doing.
Yeah, maybe
autonomously, right? So it's like a direct correlation to your like personal involvement. It's kind of like a very advanced version of Tamagotchi, right? Where it's Tamagotchis were pretty basic, but the threshold of like success was literally if you just tuned in.
Correct. Yeah.
To push a couple buttons to feed it.
Yeah.
And what else? Put it to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. So one example of that would be like, you know, let's like the fashion trends. They tend to change like every couple of years.
Yeah.
So you need to tell them it's like, hey, things are changing. Here's how they're changing. So the next time someone asks for like a particular drip for their avatar, it's like you might want to be with the times.
That's true. That's interesting. Yeah, so it's literally like the differentiator between like what makes your child like stand out amongst other children, right? It's like typically it's parental involvement, right? The degree of how you involved you are with your child's like upbringing.
Sure.
If you're not present, guess what? Your kid's gonna suffer. He's not gonna like perform in this
gangster
in this game, this simulation. A gangster?
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, gangster or whatever, dude. Whatever ends up happening to people, you know, all those interesting vectors of possibility.
Yeah, I guess a gangster is bad. It could be he could become a gangster.
Yeah.
Or the next Elon.
Right. Yeah, it's true. He didn't like his parents, right?
I don't think he had a particularly bad upbringing, but he didn't have like the greatest one either. So.
Yeah, I just don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be directly parallel or not. It's like so agent owner.
Yeah, interaction is
somehow,
like better output.
Yeah, equates to like my agent's gonna like go out there and just thrive.
There's a chance of that for sure.
Maybe, if that were the case, that would be like indicative of like AGI. I feel like where like somehow there's like an emotional connection to human beings and these artificial life forms, right?
Well, that goes back to a Black Mirror episode.
Well, shit. Then
we should write one.
I feel like, dude, what could possibly be left as far as like a dystopian narrative?
I feel like they're doing pretty good on their own too.
You know what?
I don't think they need us, dude.
I don't know if it's like, I haven't looked into it. I don't know how these things get written, but it seems like there's different directors, different writers on every single episode. And like we could be a writer for something like this. As long as it's good, you know, they'll pick it up.
Well, I don't know about being a writer, maybe like a contributor of thought.
Give them a premise.
Yeah, maybe like shoot them a couple emails.
I don't see Will writing down script lines.
All of a sudden we're just like Hollywood in. It's like block runner guys. The industry needs them, right? But yeah, I mean maybe we have something unique to offer.
Well, I think we do.
What?
I think our experience in Web3.
Well, TJ already outlined like a Web3 episode, basically, right? Where
were they using like tokens? Like
no,
okay.
But it was. I don't want to spoil it, but you'll have to watch it.
Oh.
I'll send it to you guys tonight.
There was like a token-esque.
No. There's this subscription model.
Yeah, it's probably just like it's like Twitch.
Yeah,
it's just like
I see.
You know, here's my chat. What is it? Text to speech. Donation?
Yeah, it was like donations. Yeah, it was like that.
So,
Okay.
Yeah, it's essentially just Twitch. Like Twitch is already that.
So you're paying them to torture themselves, essentially.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
I think the app itself is called like Dumb Dummies or something like that. It's like super generic, but yeah, you're basically like, and like the dumber stuff you do, the higher payout, obviously.
Yeah,
it's interesting. Yeah, I mean that's one of the things we keep asking the question, like in a fully AI automated society where like human beings no longer have like laborious purpose, those types of like applications I envision.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
Like, this is what we're going to be up to.
Yeah. That or we're going to be speculating on what AI does.
Yeah, like again, like in the metaverse context of things, where like they do everything better than us, they produce content better than us, they
mine
can
content.
they can participate in like digital economies better than we can. It's like might as well just let them run amok.
Yeah,
and we just observe and
100%.
Polymarket the hell out of this stuff.
Absolutely,
and that's it. And then
you know it's funny, we end up becoming spectators all over again.
So maybe that's the episode, dude.
Dude, I told you.
That's a good
Didn't
episode.
I say it?
Yeah, we're just like spectating on an AI simulation. That's like what's that Hollywood director, the M. Night Shyamalan twist at the end?
Yeah.
It's like just, you think you're watching like a human.
Exactly.
Like civilization.
Yeah, and then it sort of like zooms out and you're actually looking at humans. They're all like.
Polymarket.
Yeah, they're all,
and then
they're all betting on what happens to this relationship. And shit.
I hate to burst your bubble. There's a similar episode.
God
Fucking
damn
A,
it, dude.
They thought of
Yeah,
everything.
there's a couple simulation episodes.
Yeah, see, we serve no purpose. I told you. I knew it.
But we predicted it though, right? It's like,
Yeah, but who cares? There's no glory in being second, dude.
yeah.
Oh, well, maybe we'll think of something else. Something,
Yeah.
maybe something DMT related.
Mm.
No, dude,
Oh, yeah.
there's no way they thought of that.
No way. Absolutely not.
TJ's like, that's episode 6 of season 4. It's like Bitcoin is producing everything.
No.
It's like that's an episode suggestion.
Now we need to come up with like a dystopian outlook of DMT though.
Where it's just because DMT was so successful and Bitcoin is like so obvious, like the engine for digital creation, that like
dude.
all energy, it's like we actually consume like humans, like in the Matrix, and put them in pods.
I got one way worse than that, dude.
Okay.
What if a pattern that occurs again means a segment of the population needs to like go to jail or be destitute, or like it's like a lottery, but it's a lottery you don't want to win.
Well, it's like that movie, right? What's it called?
Hunger Games.
Yeah, like that.
Oh shit! Yeah, I was thinking of the other one, The Purge.
That's
Where it's just like
that's a good one.
For whatever reason, just a random pattern occurs, like Purge is on.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
yeah, dude. It's not arbitrary. It's like
Yeah, Bitcoin to create. It's like we're reverting back to like
yeah, like actual gods.
like an eclipse happened, so we got to kill our kids, I guess. you
Yeah.
know? it's like Bitcoin is our new god.
Yeah,
Dude, that's cool. That's a good episode.
dude, perfect.
We're sending it in.
Yeah,
Somebody fetches the email to Hollywood. We're in there, dude.
Hollywood@gmail.com.
That's right. Hell yeah, dude.
it's like just an idea. It's like I was like, well, where's the script? It's like you guys do it.
yeah, you got
Just vibe code it.
ChatGPT for that, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you don't need us.
All right, guys, that's it for us for the podcast. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We did talk about a couple of things. We talked about Elon and Artifact failing, CloneX disappearing, AI craziness,
DMT,
the wooden staff of brightness.
DMT
The
genocide,
wooden staff of brightness.
woodenness. Come on, man. Don't besmirch my nostalgia, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
good
we're gonna end on this. Where's the shot here? No, it's not that one.
Yeah,
Here it is. The glowing staff of greatness, dude.
it's not it either. It's like, come on, man. Come on.
He's choosing to not say it, right?
Hold on. Let me show you another item. Something I think you might appreciate.
You know,
Look up
give me the most cringiest of names that you could think of. Like of
in context of WoW.
yeah, like something that super nerds would understand. Because you've said some of them a couple of times, and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
I can't
Wow gear.
I can't think of anything now. Dude, come on. This is some cool looking stuff. You know it is.
It's still kind of blurry. It's like, what's up with this blurriness, dude?
Just leave it alone, dude. Stop.
Was that cool?
Dude, is it not?
I mean, it
Is
kind
it
of
not?
It does like
It looks pretty
it
bad.
looks cool.
Just look at Warglaves. Warglaves, and then we'll end it on that. You gotta give me at least this, because that was a rogue. Yeah.
War glaives.
And then wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that should be it. Now hit enter. There they are. Come on, dude.
Oh.
Those are fucking sick.
Oh, I can see this. Is this like a physical item? I mean, that
dude.
kind of.
I mean, I'm sure some nerd out there crafted one, but as a physical item.
Yeah, that is cool.
Actually, one last thing, dude, because one of our friend's brother had a physical sword called a Frostmourne. Look up that, dude.
Okay, I
You've
think
seen
I've
that.
heard of this.
Like, they actually produce those where you can hang it on your wall.
Yeah, Frostmourne sword.
And that's actually fucking cool. If you've seen it in
Yeah,
person.
I have seen this.
In person?
I didn't know that this came from WoW though.
Yeah, this is the Lich King's sword, dude.
Wow.
Very
See,
cool.
that is
See,
absolutely
there's a guy
cool.
right there holding it for real.
Yeah, I remember. I heard that this was like extremely heavy, like 20 pounds.
Yeah, it's like it's a real sword. Yeah, it's.
I don't
steel.
know if are real swords 20 pounds. I mean, that's
I think
pretty.
yeah, dude, they were real men back in the day, like wielding these things and murdering each other with these things, dude.
Damn, 20 pounds though.
It was a beast of a sword, and
Yeah.
yeah, I felt it. I held it in my hand. It's pretty tremendous.
But then you got hacked. Oh no, I'm sorry. You never actually got this in game form.
no, I don't know if you could. I don't know if that was like an actual thing.
It's like only the bad guy had it.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. Maybe it was. Anyways,
Yeah, that's cool.
I miss WoW. If you can't tell, I miss those days.
All right, that's it for us. Appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure you follow our Twitter accounts and stay tuned for upcoming episodes, 20-minute episodes where we talk about deep crypto stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. Appreciate you for watching, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
Peace.